friends, today let us talk about living and non-living things. We see a wide variety of things around us. Some are living things and others are non-living things. But how can we say whether they are living or non-living? We can say so by identifying their characteristics. So come, let's see the different characteristic features of the living things first. To say it in the simplest way, we can say all things that have life are called living things. For example, trees, birds, plants, insects, animals, fish, frog, etc. Now, let us learn about the features of a living thing. Number 1. Living things breathe. Number 2. Living things grow. Number 3. Some living things can move around on their own. Number 4. Living things require food. Number 5. Living things can feel the changes around them. And number 6, living things can reproduce. And now let us talk about the non-living things. All things around us that do not have life are categorized as non-living things. Let us take a look at their features. Number 1, non-living things do not breathe. Number 2, non-living things do not grow. Number 3, non-living things do not move around on their own. Number 4, non-living things do not require food. Number 5, non-living things cannot feel the changes. And number 6, non-living things cannot reproduce. Come, let us now look at the characteristics of living things in details with some examples. The first point is living things can breathe. Living things need air to breathe. If living things do not breathe, they cannot live. Not all living things have the same organ for breathing. While humans and some animals breathe through their nose. Some animals like frog breathe through their skin. Do you know how fish breathe? Fish breathe through gills. Now, what are the other living things that we see around us? We see different kinds of insects around us. And how do they breathe? Insects breathe through small air holes on their bodies. Then we also have the plants. Plants are living things, right? So plants also breathe. But have you ever seen a plant having nose, gills or air holes through which it can breathe? No. Then how do plants breathe? Plants breathe through small pores on their leaves. These pores or holes are called stomata. The next characteristic of living things is they can grow. Have you ever planted a tree? We either sow the seeds of a plant on the soil or plant a tiny little sapling. After that, we water these and slowly they grow into a big tree. This shows that living things grow. Also, we ourselves have grown. Have you not become a little taller than you were last year? Yes, of course. So that's how even the animals grow from a baby to an adult. We can therefore say that living things grow throughout their life. Next we come to living things can move on their own. Now you see, you come to school, you go outside to play, and you do so many more other things. And all of these things you do at different places. This means that you can move around on your own. So that shows that living things can move from one place to another in search of food and shelter and to do other work. Animals and human beings walk with the help of their legs. Birds and bees fly with the help of wings. Fish move with the help of fins. But do plants move? We said that they were living things, right? Well, plants do not move from one place to another. And besides, they do not need to move here and there because they can make their own food. And this they can do with the help of sunlight, air and water. The fourth characteristic we spoke of earlier was living things need food. We all eat food, right? Surely we do. And why do we eat? Because it helps us grow and gives us energy to do work. Be it playing games or studying or running around or even walking, we get the energy to do all these things from the food we eat. We even give our pets to eat. So you see, all living things need food. Animals eat plants or flesh of other animals. Then what about plants? How do plants get food? From the previous point we have learned, plants are fixed in one place. Plants do not need to go in search of food. They can make their own food with the help of air, water and sunlight. Next characteristic, living things feel changes. Now tell me, don't you feel hot in summer and cold in winter? Yes, that is because living things can feel changes. In the same way, animals also feel or sense changes around them with the help of their sense organs like eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. Insects like cockroach, grasshopper and butterfly on the other hand feel changes with the help of special body parts called antennae. Then how do you think plants feel changes around them? Plants such as mimosa or touch-me-not close their leaves when we touch it. Let's take another example. A lotus flower opens its petals during sunrise and closes it at sunset. Hey, do you know from where the sunflower gets its name? It gets its name from the fact that it always faces the sun. Thus, we can say that plants can also feel the changes around them and react. The last feature or characteristic of living things is that they can reproduce. Now, what exactly do we mean by reproduction? It is the process by which living things produce more of their own kind. The next question is then, how do living things reproduce? Humans and a lot of animals give birth to their young ones. There are other animals and birds that lay eggs. The eggs hatch and the babies come out. Then what about plants? Do plants reproduce? Yes, plants reproduce with the help of seeds. These seeds grow into new plants. Some plants also give rise to new plants with the help of the roots, stems or leaves. For example, A mango plant produces and grows from a seed. Grass grows from its roots and sugarcane grows from its stem. With that, we come to the end of the features of living things. Now, let us take a look at the characteristics of non-living things. Number 1. Non-living things do not breathe. Have you ever seen your doll breathe though it has a nose? No, isn't it? That means a non-living thing may look like a living thing, yet it does not breathe. Have you ever seen your pencil box grow? No, definitely not. That means that non-living things do not grow. Next, non-living things cannot move around on their own. A table or a chair may have legs, but they are not the same as humans or animals. So certainly, they cannot move around by themselves. Only when you and I move them around, they can move. Similarly, you have seen a fallen leaf move or a cloud move, but they can only do so because of the wind that is blowing. The train or the bus also moves, though they are non-living things, but that is possible only when the driver moves them. So we can say non-living things do not move. And why do they need to move? This brings us to the next point, which says non-living things do not need food. Remember, we have learned that living things move around mainly in search of food and shelter. Thus, because the non-living things do not need either of these, they do not move by themselves. And what about feelings? Do non-living things have feelings? Have you ever heard a cupboard saying ouch or move away when someone closes or opens it? No, they don't. That is because they do not feel anything. Even a robot, which almost looks and works like a human, does not feel anything at all because it is a non-living thing. And the final difference between a living and a non-living thing is that the non-living things do not reproduce. Have you ever heard or seen a chair giving birth to another chair? No, that's not possible. If we need another chair, we have to get it made by the carpenter from a piece of wood. So, these are the ways in which a living thing and a non-living thing are different from each other. Hope you enjoyed knowing all of it. See you next time. Till then, keep learning, keep smiling.